Hi everybody, it's Jamie from the Milton Public Library, and I'm here today to bring you another library short. This month we are doing activities that have to do with maps, and I'm going to show you how to do this following directions map activity. The cool thing about this activity is it can be done indoors or outdoors, and you can do a large scale or a small scale version of it. The one I'm going to be showing you today, I'm going to do on the library floor. And for that, I'm going to need tape and a marker and then a compass rose. So you can either print out a compass rose or you can just make one with a marker on paper. It's easy to do that. You just make a cross, and then of course you do north at the top, south at the bottom, west and east. So this one needs very little supplies. If you do this outside, all you'll need is some chalk. And if you want to do a small scale version of this, all you'll need is a piece of paper and a marker or a pen and some kind of little artifact that you can move around. So it can be something like a button or a penny. Okay, so like I said, the one I'm going to show you today is going to be inside on the library carpet because it's still a little bit yucky outside. And I'll lay that out for you now and then show you how to play the game. I've just taped off a 4x4 grid here on the library floor. You can really choose to do any size of grid depending on how much space you have and how complicated you want it to be, but I thought this would be a good size to start with. So I have 16 squares and I'm going to go ahead and put numbers on those little squares. Okay, I've got the numbers on my grid on the floor, and now comes the fun part. If your child can read, you can actually write out kind of a little step-by-step that they can work through to get from one spot to the next. And if your child is not reading, you can just do verbal commands out loud or just experiment with the different directions. So now I'm going to flip my camera around. Here I've got my grid on the floor going from number 1 all the way up down the lines here to number 16. That's our last square. And up at the top I have my compass rose. You may want to talk about how on a map north is always up, but in real life north may actually be a different direction, and that's maybe a conversation that you can have with kids who are a little bit older and understand that. But for now, we'll just figure that north is going forward, south is going back, west is to the left, and east is to the right. Now let's take a peek at how I am going to get from box number 1 to box number 16. So first I'm going to take 2 steps to the west. And I have my compass rose up there, remembering that west is to the left, so here I go. 1, 2. Now 2 steps north. 1, 2. 1 step east and 1 step north, so 1 step east, 1 step north, and then finally 1 step east, and yay! I made it to box number 16. You can talk about too how it would have been easier to go from box 1 to box 16 just by taking 3 steps north. 1, 2, 3. But you can have a lot of fun with this following directions activity indoors or outdoors, and it can get even more complicated and crazy if you make a bigger grid. I hope you enjoyed this activity. It's a great way to get youngsters thinking about maps and directions. So good luck.